What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Pod Has Spoken. It has been far, far too long. Very, very happy to be back, to be talking about Survivor. And we have some very exciting things and guests in the works. But for now, until those exciting guests are here, we have my co-host, Riley.
Thanks, man. It's like it hasn't been long
Riley.
at all. We're right back in the swing of it. You still got your fastball. This is great.
Good. I haven't lost my touch yet.
No.
I just went on a...
That was like mid-season form.
Yes, thank you. I just went on a midlife crisis trip to Norway. So I was like, maybe I've lost a step, but I haven't.
I saw that. You have been all over. You were in Norway. You were in Banff. What's going on?
Yeah. Midlife crisis.
No, it wasn't.
Not really.
It wasn't a midlife crisis. What was
No, not really. But like, I was just like, I should take some trips for once my kids were born, I just like quit doing stuff because I wanted to watch them grow up. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm getting like handcuffed to this. It was like, I want to be here for the moments. And now there's part of me that's like, teaching my kids to go out and have adventures and do other things and be independent is also like showing them that I'm doing stuff and that Rachel's doing stuff is also probably a lesson in itself. So I was like, I've got to take care of myself and, take care of number one.
How old are your kids now?
9 and 6.
So that's when they get boring.
No, they're not boring yet.
It sounds like it. You're like, I need a break. Gotta go to Norway.
No, I have a friend that I had done adventures with for a long time before I had kids, and he still goes on these adventures all the time. And I promised him at the beginning of this year, I was like, it's been too long. I will go do something with you this year. That's cool. So he like called me a couple weeks ago. I was like, want to go to Norway? And I was like, it's not a great time, but I guess it never probably will be. So let's do it. So I just dropped everything and did it. So it was cool.
Looked awesome.
Riley, yeah, very, very happy to have you back. And you have some news. I don't know if you're sharing the news publicly yet or not.
I mean, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I've been at home doing some construction projects and some things because we have a baby on the way. So I'm gonna have to ditch you once again. I'm sure that there'll be people who give me flack for that, but
when you went to Sweden?
Yeah, like when I went to Sweden. But this time, we're not going to Sweden. We'll be here, but I'll be on parental leave, obviously.
So where are you right now?
In my office, at home.
So then when but you'll be at your house once the baby's there too, like the same place, right?
I will be taking care of my child on leave that I've earned from work. And yeah, I don't think I anticipate making podcast appearances during that stretch. I'm going to do full attention on the kid. It's first kid for us, so we don't really know.
You want to be there for all the moments.
Yeah,
we just went over all of that.
Yeah,
so that'll be great.
Until they're 9 or 6, and then I'll be like, whatever. I got this pod. Like, can you just go, color in the corner or whatever?
Yeah. Then it will be mine are at school right now. So
it's easy. Yeah.
Riley's going to be here until the moment where he's on parental leave for the season or for part of the season. But we will have our always reliable, never absent producer and co-host, Ashleigh Smith.
Hi.
Wait, are you planning an absence too? Like I said that your face changed. Oh my God, dude. What's going on here?
Like next week.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Greece.
For how long?
2 weeks. So I'll be gone for 2 episodes.
And then but Riley doesn't know how to produce. I don't know how to produce.
I have a really nice guy coming on. He's Donnie Beachman. And
that's his real name?
Yep. Or as we like to call him, Sweet Booty Donnie.
Sweet Booty Donnie?
Sweet Booty Donnie?
Yeah.
This is crazy because what if this happens? Like, this is fully hypothetical. Riley's gone. No, first Ashleigh's gone. And then Sweet Booty Don comes in. He all of a sudden just like takes us to the next level.
Yeah.
And Ashleigh is like, where should I go from here? Riley leaves. Ashleigh jumps in as the co-host, and that ups us another level.
Oh.
And now, where does Riley go? Then Riley takes over for me, and I'm out?
Yeah.
It's just a game of musical chairs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I always try to plan vacation. Like, did you see how I planned all my stuff to be done before
the season
started
starts.
working? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was smart.
But I mean, to each their own. Yeah, to each their own. Whatever. So Ashleigh has never missed a podcast. This will be the first time.
Very first one.
And yeah, I'm interested how you'll probably be so stressed you won't even enjoy Greece at all.
I'll be worried about you guys. I'll be like, are you guys alive? Is Donnie being nice to you?
Did Donnie cut it properly? How do you feel about the YouTube video? That's another big news thing is we are now on YouTube. We've had so many requests to watch this thing, see our faces, see Riley's face for the first time, see Ashleigh's face, the behind the scenes master. And now you can drink in all of our faces as much as you want on the YouTube channel.
Look at this.
What is the YouTube channel?
I set up this background specifically for YouTube. Yeah. I got my plants here. Tyson, you're in, I don't know what you got behind you, like some packaging on the floor or something over there.
Oh, wait, you can see the packaging on the floor?
I don't know. There's something on the floor. I can see like a...
That blue thing? What are you seeing? What side?
There's like a random frame just like leaned up against the wall.
Yeah, so that's my old professional cycling team poster right there. But we're in a new house. We've been in a new house since last season. My wife didn't want to design any of it herself, so we've hired interior designers to come in, but interior designers are expensive. So now we're just trying to figure out what's cost effective and stuff. So eventually I will have the best background of the entire podcast behind me once the interior designers work their magic. But until then, I will have the worst. So then at the end, average-wise, we'll all be equal.
Okay.
So that's the plan. This is the preseason season 48.
Wait, so what is the YouTube channel? You're about to plug that and then I interrupted you.
It is Ringer Reality.
Ringer Reality.
The Ringer Reality YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. Share with your friends, your buddies. We're all having a good time here.
We're having a great time. Listen, everyone. We create this free content, free to you. You're listening to it. You're enjoying it. You're loving every second, every moment of it. You can at least like, subscribe, rate, do all of those things because that's what keeps us here. And that's it. Let's get into it. Season 47, Preseason Extravaganza. We're just going to go over the players that stand out to us, the tribes, the breakdown, who we think will win the first challenge, who we think will lose, who we think will go home from that tribe. We've done our research a little bit. We saw some videos that CBS had put out of the cast. And before me, I have the cast list. We have 3 tribes again, always 3 tribes of 6, 18 contestants. We have Gata, the yellow tribe. We have Lavo, which some say orange, some say red tribe. And we have Tuku, the blue tribe. And lots of great characters here. Riley, anything that really stood out while you were watching these videos of anything like really, really stand out in a either all full season thing or like individuals particularly?
I think I'm just stunned at how many podcasters and sports people that we have. It feels like they cast me without actually casting me. Like I'm cast in the aggregate, I think. There's even a Cal alum on here. I went to Cal. So if you mashed up like 5 different people on this season, it would be me, which is interesting. So we've got Gabe, who does a podcast on the Baltimore Ravens. We've got Rome, who's an esports commentator. We've got Aisha, who has covered some reality TV for Rob Has a Podcast, our friends over there. We have, there's so many, it's actually hard to keep track of all of them. We've got John Lovett, obviously, from Pod Save America. He's the big podcasting star.
Did you know of him beforehand?
Lovett? Yeah.
I didn't know of him, but CBS is cramming him down our throats.
I think
nonstop.
I think he's like a big name in the...
I think he's very big.
Yeah, and like the liberal, progressive, like kind of democratic politics space. I mean, he was a speechwriter for Barack Obama. So definitely someone that a lot of people have heard of. I have friends who are big fans of Pod Save America who do not watch Survivor and are like, well, I'm going to watch this season. I'm like, great. Hope you listen to our podcast as well. And hit that like and subscribe.
There's more podcasts than just Pod Save America out there.
I know.
There's ones that really cover the issues.
Yeah.
The Pod Has Spoken is where we get in the weeds about a lot of different topics.
We got Sam, who covers the Titans. He's a sports reporter. And we have, there's one other. Man, I can't find him on my list now. But
there's,
help me out.
TK is also, TK is the marketing manager.
The marketing manager, yes, who like helps athletes with their like brand deals and whatnot. So a lot of sports stuff, lots of media podcast stuff, a lot of like kind of people who are used to being on mic. I guess that's something they're looking for.
So is that like, do you think that that's just like because they're finding people like that? Or do you think that that is the new norm for employment, creating your own job, your own space as an individual, rather than working in a cubicle somewhere doing something else?
I don't know. I wonder if we need to bring on somebody who's in the casting process and talk about some of that on the pod. Because I feel like it's, we've done some pods on some of the casting stuff, but I think it has changed a lot in the new era, but just based on who we're getting on the cast. And so clearly it feels like there's a shift here this season as far as like where they went to find these cast members. They went for people who they could hear and see before they even submitted a video to CBS.
Yeah, that is interesting. Ashleigh, anything jump out to you particularly?
I mean, I was thinking the same thing that Riley was thinking, because when I was looking at or listening to everyone's stories about everything and seeing all their jobs, I was wondering how that dynamic was going to be in the tribes. A lot of people were talking about how they were going to use their jobs as kind of a jumping off point towards how they're going to socialize with everyone. And I was thinking, if everyone is going to do that in the exact same way, because they're all from the same type of entertainment industry, that kind of thing, will that be productive? Or are they going to like kind of clock it? Like, oh, I recognize that from, dealing with sports people. I recognize that from dealing with this. And I kind of wonder how that's going to work with the dynamics of the tribe. Is that actually going to work, or is it going to sound fake to some people? And then they're going to be like, that's not working. I'm kind of intrigued to see.
I don't think it's going to work. I think that like reading through those, they're like, this is what prepared me. I was in a Girl Scouts. Like none of that. Like you get out there and you're like, oh, this is such a different beast than I envisioned it to be. And you kind of got to be on your toes. So I think that's a great like plan. Like you have to have some sort of like idea of what you're going to do. But when you get out there, I think a lot of people are going to be flushing those down the toilet pretty quickly.
What are the jobs that would actually be like helpful and like intimidating to others on the island? Like if somebody came in and they were like, I'm actually like, I was a CIA agent for 20 years. I'd probably be like, we should vote that person off.
You think?
You'd be like, this is fine?
Yeah, I don't think any of that matters. I think
no job is intimidating.
No, because there's stupid people in every profession. Like it's like there's smart people in a lot of professions, but every profession also has that person where you're like, nah. And if they've made it on Survivor, whether it's a positive or a negative, it's one of the two. And if it's a positive one, you'll be able to pick up on it pretty quick. So I don't think a job title in and of itself is necessarily too intimidating. Like I went to law school. I was like, oh my gosh, 8 years of school, gross. Like that's my read on it. But like, I commend you for sticking it out for sure. But also like, it's not, and maybe that's just me. Maybe, is there a job that is perfect for your build up to play Survivor? That's the other thing. Is there one?
Pro cyclist?
Oh,
I honestly don't think it's bad because it's a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
No, because it's a team dynamic, but the individual is who gets rewarded. And Survivor's first part of the game is like that. Like, you need to position yourself to be great, but you also need to boost this team and do your part of the work. So I do think there are some, but like, and that's what these people are saying about their jobs too, honestly, is like, here's this aspect of my job that would help me in Survivor. So I do agree with that. I think the thing that stood out to me the most, and it does stand out every season, is like every single person, you're like, so who are you going to play like? And they're like, I don't know, like a mix of Boston Rob, Tony, Parvati, Suri, and who others, like just like a mashup of all of their positive qualities combined. That's me. And then the one guy's like, I'm going to play like myself. And you're like, okay, that's a gross answer too. Like there's no good answer there except for, you know how self-aware you'd have to be like, I'm going to play like Zayn. Remember that guy who got voted out first? 15?
Oh yeah.
Like,
that'd be great. Zayn had the
awesome.
strategy of like, hey, he was like, hey, vote for me, was for some reason his strategy, and then he got voted out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I would love that. I would love nothing more than to be like, there is one person, I forget who it was, that kind of named somebody that was like, I'm going to play like so-and-so. And I was like, I don't even know who that is. But for the most part, all of them are just listing like 5 or 6 greats, but then also being like, I'm a mashup of them, but also I'm the first this type of this person. And they name their name and you're like,
yep,
already over it. So 1 or 2 of them is going to do that. And the other 16 are going to look like idiots comparing themselves to the greatest games that have ever been played.
Yeah.
We had Anika and Tiana were the 2 who compared themselves to Parvati. There are Parvati girls for this season. You never get through a season without at least one.
A Parvati girl?
Yeah. It's like there's only ever been one Parvati. It's been a lot of seasons now, and there has never been a second Parvati, but good luck.
Yeah.
Who's the second Tyson?
We had one Tyson, and it's this guy, Saul, who mentioned Tyson. He said he hopes to win people over with charm. That's specifically the comparison he made with you.
My quality. Yeah. I read that too over and over and over again.
And I don't think there's been a second Tyson. So
I don't think so either. I think some have tried, some have claimed, but to get to this level of really not giving a shit, it's 1 in 8 billion.
Yeah, 1 of 1.
1 of 1. The rarest thing you can be is 1 of 1. But I mean, we're all 1 of 1, just in what capacity? Let's get into it. We have the Blue Tribe Tuku. We have Caroline, Gabe, Kyle, Sue, TK, and Tiana. And a couple things here. Sue, the oldest on the cast, and this really stood out to me, is she was planning on lying about her age. She's 59. She is a flight school owner and a pilot, and awesome. It's not a lot of females in that industry as pilots. She said, I think in her video, there's like a less than 10%, like 5% or something,
said,
which is
6%,
3%, 6%, something like that.
Yeah.
But they asked her what she was going to lie about. She said her age. And I was like, I don't think you can. Like, I love you, Sue. Like, you seem great. You want to be the oldest winner ever of the show. But you look your age. And that's not that's okay. I look my age. People sometimes think I'm older than I am. That's fine. I'm not trying to lie about being under 45. So I think that's going to come back to bite her. So looking at this tribe dynamic, Riley, who's going to have a hard time right off the bat here?
Who's going to have a hard time? We don't want to focus on who would be successsul and great.
Okay, who's going to be successful? We're going to do both. Like, you want Ashleigh to answer who's going to have a hard time. You're going to answer who has who's going to be successful here, Riley?
Well,
we've got the strategy consultant, the radio show host, the construction worker, the flight school owner, the athlete marketing manager, and the flight attendant.
I liked I like Gabe a lot on this tribe because yes, because in his video, he was just completely like, I'm not here to make friends. I don't care about these people. They don't mean anything to me going into the show. So if I leave the show with them meaning nothing to me, it's no loss. I just want $1 million. And this is what I want.
Kyle said that too, though. There's a few people this season who said, I'm sick of the new era friends, like happy-go-lucky kumbaya experience.
Let's go. Yeah. I want to see some contestants that want to rack up some skulls, man. Gabe seemed like this guy for me. So I don't know I do not know if this means he will be successful. It may mean that he is actually unsuccessful, but I liked it, and I'm excited to watch him.
Okay, Ashleigh, who's going to be successful right off the bat here? Who's going to be able to connect with the tribe and position themselves for the merge?
So I was going between Gabe and Kyle because they kind of said the same thing, but in different ways. So they're both like, I'm coming into this and like, I'm not trying to make any friends, da 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 da. I did feel like Kyle said it a little more casually in comparison to Gabe, just because Gabe seems like those type of people who care, like when they say, I don't care about anything, but then you know that they care. I feel like he cares a little bit. And I wonder how that's going to work for him at the beginning when he's kind of going through that. And then he accidentally makes like a really good friend on the tribe. And then suddenly he cares. For Kyle, I think he's going to do pretty good. He seems to be very resourceful. I think he said something about how he was building a house or something. And I wonder if that's going to help him with like the tribe itself when they're actually just hanging out and doing nothing. If he's able to show that he's resourceful, then I think people are going to really like that. In comparison to like, I don't think anyone else knows how to do a lot of stuff like outside. I'm looking at like the athlete marketing manager guy. I don't know.
He was scared of the bugs
and stuff. And I was like, I don't think he's going to do well outside. So if Kyle does it right, then he might be able to be like, oh guys, I can build this. I can build that. Please don't send me home yet. Don't send me home yet. I can keep you alive. Please.
Yeah. I like Kyle. Initially, I read his bio and stuff. I was like, but then while watching his video and seeing a little bit more about him, I was like, okay, he could be a good balance because he seems very personable. But then he's like, I don't care about people in this game. I'm not here to make any friends. Same as Gabe. One of them will end up caring about someone a little too much here. That's like the way it goes. Because every old school,
maybe they'll care about each other.
They might become
that would
friends.
be hilarious. That would be so good. They're their ride or dies, and they're like, I won't vote you out.
Oh.
I for some reason am drawn to TK.
Yeah.
Like he seems athletic. He has this struggle of disease growing up, this rare disease that he had, or something with his liver or kidneys or something. And he seems like he's a good mix of like athleticism and personality, and maybe because even with the bugs, he was like kind of laughing about it and stuff. And I think that's important to laugh about like all the bullshit you're going to be going through. Like if you can laugh in a rainstorm after it's been raining for 3 days and just be like, misery, isn't this hilarious? Like that goes a long way. So I think for me, he's my guy there. And I think he's a good mix of like caring about people, but able to hopefully play the game. I also like Tiana. I think she's the first contestant we've had from Hawaii. I mean, Cody lives in Hawaii, but she is Hawaiian. And yeah, we'll see how she goes. She's D1 volleyball player. Who is going to be voted out first of that tribe? Riley?
I think it might be Sue. I think it comes back to her not kind of owning, her role as the older woman necessarily, if she's thinking about lying about her age. And then I always love looking at these comparisons to the past Survivor players. And she said she's going to be Tony combined with Suri. And that's just tough.
Yeah.
It's so good. Ashleigh, same answer, different answer?
I'm thinking between Sue and Caroline because For Sue, it matters how she plays the whole. I know she said she wants to lie about her age, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it matters how she plays into whatever role that they give her in the tribe. Are they going to look at her and think mom? Are they going to look at her and try, like, is she going to act like the mom type? If she doesn't, then how does that react? So I'm kind of intrigued to see how that's going to happen, especially if she's going to lie about her age. I'm not really sure. But also with Caroline, I was thinking about when she was talking about how she's like a wolf in sheep's clothing and all that stuff. And I'm kind of worried that she might overplay that a little bit. And so that might be her downfall.
That's actually my exact read, is Caroline is anxious to slit some throats.
Yeah.
And if she comes out playing too hard as the strategy consultant, she could, do some damage to herself. Otherwise, I think Sue is going to have an uphill battle. But it's like, if Sue can hold her own in the challenges, play into that like role of like motherly and unaware of the game swirling around her, she's probably going to be okay. Caroline, if she can just like, also like not have to be at the forefront immediately, then she's fine. But I think it's between those two. Let's move to the yellow tribe, which is Gata. We have Andy, the AI research assistant, who I think was cut a couple years ago. He had made it deep into casting and didn't end up making it. We have Annika, the marketing manager, John Lovett, podcast host, Rachel, the graphic designer, Sam, the sports reporter, and Sierra, the nurse. My gut says get rid of Sierra immediately.
Dude, that was what my gut said too, actually. I got a weird
just because of the name and the Sierras versus Tysons of the past.
Oh, I see where you're going for now. No, I just got a weird vibe, but that's good.
Yeah. No, I don't mind Sierra, but you could probably let her go.
Can't trust Sierras.
Can't trust Sierras. Who out of there is going to come to the forefront or rise to the top early, Riley?
Well, I think a lot of attention will be on John Lovett early.
Do you think these people are you think as a story, or you think from even the contestants?
I think that they will recognize him. Somebody will recognize him for sure. And so they will understand that he is, like a fairly famous podcaster, very successful. He's one of the most, like last name coded guys ever. Like he's definitely going to be Lovett and not John on the show. Like Probst is going to call him Lovett.
You think? I think Probst is going to call him his full name, John Lovett.
John Lovett every time.
Every time. No, he'll call him John. What do they call him on the podcast? What do they call him in?
They call him Lovett. I think they call him Lovett.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay. If they call him Lovett on the podcast, then they're going to call him Lovett.
His own podcast is called Love It or Leave It. So I think he basically goes by Lovett.
Okay.
Which just feels like it fits his personality.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He's just got like a big personality. He's like a funny guy. He's, very outgoing and whatnot. And so it's impossible for him to not stand out. And
he's very articulate.
I don't know.
I think he trained himself to be an extrovert, right?
I don't know if he trained himself to be an extrovert or if he just is an extrovert.
Oh, I thought I saw in one of the videos that
did he say that?
Had a hard time coming out of his shell when he was younger, but
as we all did.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all went through that.
I want to meet the person on Survivor who's like, I had 100% like confidence in myself at age 13.
Yeah.
Just
junior high.
Knew who I was.
Yeah.
It was great.
I had the biggest BDE in 6th grade of anybody that had ever that is true. So, yeah. Okay. So does that bode well for Lovett here? Is he going to?
I think it bodes.
Or is it going to be bad?
I think it bodes well for him to actually go a bit deeper in the game, but doesn't bode well for him to win. It's a bit of like the kind of like Mike White that season that he was on, where it's like, okay, why kind of get rid of this guy when you can sort of take him to the end? And it's like John Lovett is like very successful. There's a good chance that people won't want to vote to give him $1 million at the end, which is what I think kind of happened to Mike White. So that's how I kind of feel like is the baseline for Lovett. Is it's like, let's bring him to the end, but and he's not like, all respect to Lovett, he's not the most like intimidating guy on this island. I'm not like, oh man, he's gonna slit my throat.
Shots fired. Shots fired, Riley.
Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe he'll be out there, backstabbing people. That'd be awesome.
Throwing rocks over his head.
I think he will enjoy backstabbing people. I think that's why part of the reason he came out here was to do that. I think he could be the weak link in challenges early.
I could see that. So now more shots fired here.
I mean, he might be. Yeah, he could be. I mean, there's other people there that could be. Like Annika could also be one that like is, either not holding her own in challenges somehow or grading people the wrong way a little bit. But I think you're right about John, though. I think he's very articulate. He's very entertaining from the short little clips we've seen of him talking. And I think that's a powerful tool if you can utilize words with your fellow contestants. But if he's well known and people are like, this is what he does, he's a wordsmith, that could be dangerous for him as well. And if he's not able to hold his own in the challenges, then that's a problem. So, yeah, it could go either way. How about you, Ashleigh, who you think is going to come, not necessarily the Sigma of the group, but, who's going to be okay early on here?
I'm thinking Sam. He was talking about how he's athletic. He was in theater. He did a bunch of things. So it makes me think that he is able to kind of sneak through a bunch of different types of groups. If he did mention that he could cry on command, which I think would be very helpful with connecting with certain people. And so I think he'll be good to just kind of be like that guy who kind of sneaks through and then suddenly he made it to the merge and you're like, hey, remember that guy? So that's going to be my fingers crossed guy.
I do like that actually, because he is, that stood out to me too when he was like, I'm a sports guy, sports reporter, always wanted to be in sports, but I was also in theater and did all of this. And it's like having those life experiences and being able to cross different age and hobby demographics, I guess you would say, is a powerful tool in Survivor. So I think him being able to like connect with the sportsy guys, but then also being like, I'm also in theater and I love musicals or whatever. That goes a long way to be able to have a few different things where you can really connect with people. So yeah, I don't hate that either.
He had a good
Riley.
He had a good mix of Survivor inspirations. He had Michelle and Devin, which is, it's not Boston Robin and Tony.
Yeah. 2 0 vote finalists. No, Devin got some votes.
Michelle won the game.
Oh yeah, I was thinking winners at war.
Yeah, sure.
No, but
Michelle's never been voted out
ever. So, I saw that too, and I did like both of them, and we'll see how he goes from there. So who's in trouble? Who's in big trouble, Riley?
Who's in big trouble on this tribe? I think Annika a bit. A lot of this is just like who I vibed with or not. And as we know, I have a terrible track record with picking people in the preseason. But
so she's going to win.
She could win. She puts, this is the girl who puts that she's a huge Survivor fan on dating apps.
Yeah.
And then gets off put when guys like try to flirt with her about that, was how I read that whole sequence going.
Unless they mention Parv or Boston Rob, then they're automatically like level 3 relationship. Yeah.
Which is funny because it's like those aren't like deep cuts, It's not like, wow, you're like a true fan. Like, Parv and Boston Rob, you might have watched the show.
First Google, when you Google Survivor.
Google Survivor.
Some guy took like all of 10 seconds to be like, what can I say that makes it look like I'm a Survivor fan?
Yeah. Ashleigh?
I feel the same about Annika. when she said that, I was like, it didn't seem too deep of a cut for her to tell us this. It didn't feel like we got to know her very well. It just kind of seemed like I love Survivor so much that my potential partner needs to know Survivor very well. And I was like, oh, okay. And she talked about how she was a data analyst kind of person. And I feel like, I don't know, I don't feel like a lot of data people go that far in Survivor. And if they do, they have to change really quickly to a more social game. So I feel like that's going to hurt her a little bit. And then I also feel like Rachel might fall through the cracks a little bit. I feel like she might be if she wants to be like a middle person, I feel like she might accidentally become a throw off vote where she's just like, oh, we need to get rid of somebody. Let's get rid of her. And if she stays always in the middle, she might accidentally fall into that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
So with Rachel, she described herself as quirky and neurotic and said that she needs a balance like her husband. Like she seems like she's aware of this, that she can kind of like spiral if she doesn't have somebody.
But she needs an anchor.
To sort of be that anchor. Yeah, exactly. So who do we think that could be on this tribe?
Well, that's when I'm looking down this list, I think Annika, she talks about like coming out of her shell a little bit and being who she is instead of trying to conform to who she thinks she should be or whatever. And I think that's like, that can be dangerous if like you're in that moment in your life where you're like, I have to go out on Survivor and be me. And then they're like, hey, can you be part of the group? She's like, I can be me. And you're like, we need a group person right now. Nope. And so like that, I think can rub people the wrong way if it's too aggressive. And Rachel, I think you're right, Ashleigh. Like she could get caught like torn between two groups and then just totally fleeced by both groups as they're just like, let's just get rid of her. She could also, I really do still feel like it's going to come down to if there's not somebody who's standout annoying the entire group, it's going to come down to probably who really flubs it in a challenge if it's the first day. And Annika could be that. John could be that. Rachel could be that. I think it's probably, I think that's like being someone who's strong in a challenge doesn't really matter. But being the absolute worst at a challenge on the first immunity challenge can definitely matter. And so like, if there's nobody in particular, it's really just going to be like who either gets caught out playing too hard or who is too annoying. So yeah. Let's go to, is it red or orange? Because I've seen it listed as both.
Red?
I thought red, but
okay, red it is. Let's go to the red tribe, which is Lavo. That's easy to remember.
Yeah. Lava, red. Yeah.
Yeah. We have, is it Aisha or Aisha? Aisha.
It may be. I don't know.
I'm going to say Aisha.
I thought
Aisha, Genevieve, Kashan, Rome. Solomon, he goes by Saul, and Teeny. Who's going to rise to the? You love their names. This is
cool name
based
group.
On names alone. This is the cool name tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Which name is your favorite?
Teeny.
Yeah, that's badass, right?
That's a cool name.
Yeah, I don't think it's a God-given name, but I think it's a rad, like maybe not self-appointed, but nickname that stuck. That they're just like, I'm going to ride with this. Yeah. So awesome. Riley, which name is your favorite?
Dude, I've had to do so much thinking about names recently. This is like bringing up a lot of angst I have right now. I like the name Rome a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Rome, and that's short for Jerome. I believe.
It is.
I
believe so.
Yeah, it is. It is on his bio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I met Rome in person. He came to when I totally decimated Q and Hunter in pickleball. They challenged me in pickleball. They came out to Phoenix, very gracious of them, and I definitely handed it to them. But Rome came and watched because he is a local Phoenix guy. And so I like Rome. He was quiet there though, because those contestants, before it's announced, they come out to these Survivor events and they're like, "Psst, hey, I'm on the next season of Survivor." And you're like, are you, or are you just trying to get in with me? Like, because we went over this last time. I was like, if you want to get up close and personal with Survivor contestants at a Survivor event, you just go in and tell them you're on the next season.
Yeah.
And there's no way to fact check it at that point. And they just like welcome you with open arms. You're in. You are in. And you just hang out there and have a great time. So Rome was telling the truth. He is on the next season. So,
but he wasn't calling your pickleball match, was he?
He wasn't calling my pickleball match, but I should have had him do it.
Yeah, he's our esports commentator.
I know, and yeah, I should have. I didn't even think of that, but I didn't know anything about him. I didn't even know he was going to be there. He rolled in, and I think Q or Hunter knew he was going to be there and was like, "This guy's on the next season." Because now, when you go on a show, you reach out to a bunch of people who are recently on the show. And you're like, hey, I'm going to be on the next season. And then you're automatically friends for life.
That must be such an interesting time as a Survivor contestant. That time after the season has filmed, but before it's aired. And it's like, you probably want to be like a part of this community and show up at, the pickleball events and whatnot, but no one knows who you are yet.
Yeah. And for some people, like you get voted out first and they don't know it. You can go to the events and be like, I could have won. It's like buying a lottery ticket and being like, maybe I'm a billionaire.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, maybe I'm a billionaire, but nobody else knows. And so, so there's that. Yeah, it is probably interesting time there. I remember when I went on the show, you come back, you're so excited, and then nobody knows. And so you're like, I need the world to know that I'm about to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, when it got announced back then, it wasn't like online that mattered. It was TV Guide. So you'd rush to the store and buy 10 TV guides.
You're really dating yourself here.
I don't think it's a secret. I'm 45 years old. I'm not going to lie about my
age
age out here, Riley.
At the top of the show, you are living exactly
loud and proud. Said. I'm fucking old. Had a midlife crisis trip to Norway. All of it.
It's okay.
So
it's
okay. Thank you, Ashleigh. Thank you for your support and understanding. Thank you for seeing me, Ashleigh.
Hey, man, I got to get these in where I can after your introduction for me today.
We love you, Riley. Everybody on the podcast says it's not the same without you. Mm-hmm. And you're definitely going to get harassed online for missing, even though it's for parental purposes. All right, let's get to this red tribe. Riley, who is in trouble here? Oh, no. We want to start positive. I forgot about that. Who's rising to the top? Who's going to steer the ship of the red tribe?
I liked Rome and Saul. Both of those guys. I feel like Rome is a esports commentator. I think that someone working in media just kind of like resonated with that immediately. And then Saul is our guy who compared himself to you, Tyson, saying that he thinks he can win people over with charm. We'll see, you're 1-1, but
that's right.
I think that he's got kind of a level head on him too. It didn't feel like an ego thing for him. He just came across well to me, so I like him.
Okay. Ashleigh.
I think I like Saul the most right now. He just gave me the best vibes. But I think...
Because he said me again? Like, is that why?
That's definitely probably why.
Oh my goodness.
We're just team players here on the Pot of Spoken.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
But I also like Teeny as well. Not just because of their name, but I was like, if everything goes according to plan for Teeny, they could get pretty far. I think that they have that kind of thing where they could switch and I guess code change, right? Yeah. For whenever they're with different types of people. They were talking about how they hang out with like frat boys some days and then a sorority other days. I mean, that alone is a huge switch. So I'm wondering if everything goes according to plan for Teeny, they can accidentally become like everyone's favorite person and just kind of sneak their way into different types of alliances, and no one will know because they're just code switching between these people. So those are my two favorites right now, other than everyone else in this team, because everyone has cool names.
Cool names.
And that's the top of my kindergarten best friend like qualification. Cool names.
Yes. Cool names, number one.
Mm-hmm.
I am wondering, are people going to recognize Aisha? Because we've got super fans on the show. Everybody's pretty much a super fan. Are they going to be RHAP super fans and recognize Aisha? And is that going to be a problem? Or in this new age of Survivor where everyone's a super fan, is that not threatening at all?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Riley?
I don't know. I don't know that I would be too intimidated just because she's on some podcasts talking about like Big Brother and whatnot.
Some podcasts.
Rob has podcasts. Some
minimization.
Podcasts. Some podcasts.
Yeah, lots of podcasts. Many podcasts.
But
about reality TV.
I just feel like there's so many super fans on the show. It doesn't differentiate her. It's different. It's different for me than like Love It, where it's like, okay, this is a massive podcast. You know, Pod Save America is very, very big and successful and has a huge audience. And Aisha is not like a podcast star on that level. This is like, that's apples and oranges for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I did not love that Aisha said she's the type of person to talk your ear off on an airplane. I am like let me put my
I don't like
headphones
that
on. I don't really need to have a conversation with anyone on an airplane. So
you ask for my phone number on an airplane, and I am calling. I'm
the police.
Whoever's the traffic guy, the undercover agent on the flight. I'm getting him immediately.
Yeah, it's suspicious.
Yeah, it's major suspicion. Like, I have no problem telling you no when you ask for my phone number as someone who's just met me.
Yeah.
Well, and that might be somebody who like recognizes you too.
Stalker situation.
Yeah.
No, I'm not giving phone numbers out.
I've never made a friend on an airplane. I can say that.
That's good.
I'm always like, DM me on Instagram and then just ghost them forever. So she could be a little too much as far as that goes. If she's talking people's ears off, like there's sometimes when you're on Survivor where you just all want to sit there in silence. And that's okay to be quiet sometimes. I think here, people rising to the top, like Saul, I think he could be overbearing leadership wise. Like maybe he like wants to be the leader too much. Maybe he's okay. Jashan could be that too. And Genevieve is our only Canadian this year. Is that because Canadians have won too much? Our only lawyer and only Canadian.
That's too much.
Yeah. So Canadians have won a couple of the past seasons. So now they're just like, let's bring it back home to America and almost guarantee it. We'll just put one on there because Canadians are allowed. But I think that Genevieve could be in a great spot. I think that she's going to be good at challenges. It seems like she's very kind. She's 33, so she's in that sweet spot of like life experience and wisdom. So I honestly think Genevieve is maybe the best positioned on that tribe.
Interesting. She's gonna.
I think Rome is very loud and he's a lot to handle for some people. And he's even said that in some of his stuff. Is he's like, I don't know if people are gonna, know how to react to me. And he said it in like a way that was positive. But if you're saying that, then there's people that are going to probably react negatively to you as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Like, I think if he can be loud and exuberant and whatever, and everybody loves it, that's going to be very powerful. But if he's rubbing people the wrong way by being overly positive in negative times, then that can be an issue. I think Genevieve's positioned well there. Ashleigh, who's got an uphill battle? Who's going to go first if things go south for Red Tribe here?
Probably Rome. Just because I remember you mentioning like last season what it would be like to be around someone who's constantly talking when you guys have had a really bad day. And You've lost a challenge. It's raining for whatever reason. Maybe something's like not put together and on the tribe and you haven't been sleeping. And then Rome comes around and he starts talking a bunch. People are gonna, and then maybe he's talking to this person, talking to that person. Then you're wondering, oh, is he talking about my plans to that person? So I feel like if he actually is a loud talker, as much as he said he is, then he's going to be a little bit in trouble because people are going to be wondering, oh, this is too much. Oh, this is too much. Yeah, that's too much. Tell him. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think that could get him caught out. Riley?
I feel like I'm on the exact opposite wavelength as you guys for this tribe. I don't think Genevieve is set up well. She's a lawyer who immediately admitted that she has no passion for the law. So not great.
Yeah.
And then
most lawyers don't have passion for the law. They just are there because they didn't know whatever profession to choose.
As somebody who has occasionally considered law school, I can confirm that it's sometimes just like, well, what else?
It's going to be a pretty good job, patent-wise, but miserable otherwise.
But she's also going to lie about being a lawyer. She's one of our lawyer liars that for some reason they think that their job is, so intimidating and
so scary.
I don't know. I don't think that has a history of success. You're coming in, already feeling like, oh, who I am is so intimidating.
That's fair.
I don't like that mindset to enter the game. I feel like you need to have like a different kind of way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, we haven't talked a lot about Kashan, the ER doctor, but I think he's in one of those positions where he could be the perfect leader of a group like this. Like if he can not be too overbearing alpha wise, like I think people would really respect his input and go to him for leadership. And so I think he could be set up well as well. On the downside, I think Aisha, if it comes to like really losing a challenge, I think she could be the weak link in a challenge. I know that I've seen she's been working out and doing that stuff, but it's still like survivor challenges are a different beast than just getting in shape over the last couple months. I also I love Saul because he said me and I want him to do well, but I could also see him being too overbearing of a leader, wanting to be the leader, wanting to make sure his opinion is the one that people are listening to. Maybe not, hopefully not, but that I could see that happening for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those two are going to, and for Saul, it's just like, for both of them, like Aisha could be great at challenges or fit right in the challenges and be totally fine. Saul could take a back seat and let someone else steer the ship and have no problem with it. And then I'm totally wrong. But my initial takes are that those are going to be the issues for those two. So we've got our three tribes. We've got who we like and we like everybody, but we've got who we think is going to thrive initially and who is going to have an uphill battle. Which of these tribes is going to tribal council first, Riley?
I'm going to say the yellow tribe, Gata. This is the one with Andy, Annika, Lovett. I'm calling him Lovett. I think that's what he'll be on the show. Rachel, Sam, and Sierra.
Should they call him Love It or Leave It?
That's a lot. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Still. Okay.
He'll probably say something about love it or leave it as his torch is getting snuffed out.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you guys didn't love it, so now I'm going to leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're all going to groan and roll our eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to get brutal and full honesty from Lovett about himself? Or are we going to, is he going to mask it with words and humor?
I think we'll get some honesty.
I think we're going to get some
honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty and self-awareness.
Yeah. I feel like
okay.
From what we've seen, I think Survivor kind of like rips everything away. So it seems
they try.
Yeah. So I think
but he's also a professional.
That's
he's also
true.
a professional.
And he's been in politics and stuff. So that is as annoying as it can be. So he might be able to save face. We'll see.
Yeah. So Riley, who's going to exit first if they do go to tribal council?
I think Annika. I feel like it's kind of the scenario you laid out where it could be a challenge loss and maybe she was the weak link and so she goes home.
Okay. Ashleigh, which tribe is losing here?
I'm thinking the yellow tribe as well. They didn't have as many, I hate to say this, but physically strong players on their side, which I think can be a hindrance to a lot of things, which is such a bummer. But yeah, it just feels like they would be better if they were kind of split up into the other groups instead of on their own. I'm not really sure how they're going to do well in the challenges.
Yeah. Okay. And who's exiting the game?
It's between Annika and Andy for me. So for Annika, I just worry about how she's going to do on the challenges. But for Andy, I think it's more of how he's going to be around the other contestants. From the get-go, he's just telling us that he's going to be charming like a snake. And I'm like, oh no, just be charming. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. You don't have to like fully
be like a snake.
Yeah, it's a little too. If he could be more subtle with it, then maybe it would work out. But I feel like him immediately telling us that makes me feel like he's not going to be very subtle, and they're going to get kind of the ick from it. And so, yeah, I think he might be the first.
Not the ick.
Yeah, the ick.
Oh, that's the worst, dude. Oh my gosh. If anybody ever said the ick about me, I would immediately retreat and shut down all my social medias and call the psychiatrist from Survivor and be like, it's because I was on Survivor that someone called me the ick and now I can't
It's not cool.
function.
It hurts.
It's not cool. It does hurt. Okay, so I wanted to play devil's advocate and say blue, but I'm looking at the tribes and I also think it has to be yellow.
Oh man.
I think yellow's going to tribal council first.
Now.
Yeah, they're going to win.
That was the other thing. I wanted to hedge our bets as a podcast. But I'm looking at here and I'm like, they have, just based on it, 2.5, 3 people who look like physically, dominant-ish, whereas the other tribes have, 3.5 or 4 people that are in that same category. So I'm thinking like yellow tribe as well. And I also, honestly, I think Annika is going to rub people the wrong way, but I think Rachel, if she doesn't have that anchor and she needs that anchor, she could spiral real quick here. We've seen that happen before. The first episode, we've seen people beloved. One of them is a guest next week on our podcast that spiraled early and we did not predict that at all. And so I think that could be Rachel this season. Like maybe she finds that strength and discovers herself and was like, I don't even need my husband, and does her own thing and like ends up like, exceeding people's expectations in that regard. But I think she's going to, they're going to lose the challenge. If it's because of her, she's going to come back and spiral even more and be like, I'm sorry, it was my fault, which is like one of the worst things you can do. And so that is my prediction. So yellow, we're sorry. It's not that we don't love you, that we just are going based on what we have. And if we're right, we're geniuses. And if we're wrong, we didn't have all the information.
We had almost nothing. We're going off of basically nothing.
Don't blame us, man.
We read some sentences and watched some short video clips. Riley.
Yeah.
Who's your winner pick this season?
Yeah, I have a great track record here that I got to hold up. I'm going to go with Teeny. I think that I was looking them up. I was trying to figure out what pronouns Teeny uses. And actually, all of them are listed on they, her, his Instagram.
Nice.
I'm going to go with they, them for Teeny. But it's impressive. Teeny's like a true chameleon. They got photos with the frat bros. They got photos with the like sorority types. Someone who I think just has something for everybody, and that is rare and it's different. And so I'm excited to watch them. And I think it's just a different type of player than I feel like we normally have. And so That's my pick.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate it. Ashleigh?
At first I was going to say Teeny, so you kind of stole.
We're all in agreement on everything.
Actually,
should I ask you first, and you can like swap the order in editing?
No. Well, I think like Teeny's at least gonna make top 5. That's what I think.
They could get voted out for being a threat at that 5 stage.
That's what I'm thinking. People are going to start to notice. They're going to notice that Teeny is, like you said, a chameleon. Yep. I think for me, I'm going to pick Kyle from the blue team. I thought he just kind of was very different from everyone else, like super calm and collective and like not like, oh yeah, Survivor, woo! Which, you know, and it makes me feel like he would be a surprise competitor for a lot of everyone. They're not going to really notice when he comes out of nowhere and just kind of steals it from everyone. So I'm going to say Kyle.
Okay. I like it. He's one of those ones where I looked at his picture, I read his bio, I was like, eh. Yeah. But then when I watched him talk and stuff, I was like, okay, this guy could do some damage. I'm going to go with TK. I think if TK can remain positive when chips are down, that's going to be powerful. I think he's going to blend in well and be able to, you know, bounce around a little bit between different groups and, you know, what would you say? Different cliques. I think he's going to be able to bounce around a little bit between different cliques there. So I'm going to say TK, and I am going to ride or die with TK until he wins or is voted out. And that's unlike me because I like to bounce around as people's games are exposed. But I'm going to really try my best. I mean, now that I'm looking into the future, I'm like, should I do that? I'm going to ride as long as I can with TK. I might change before he gets voted out, but it's only because I think he's going to get voted out. Mm-hmm. So, TK, you're my guy. Let's get out there and crush it. Anything else before we shut this thing down? No, nothing. Okay. No closing words. I'm excited. Next week, we have a very exciting guest. It's been in the works for months and months. And I think we're going to have a great time. Week after that, also fantastic guest. I'm super excited to be back. I'm excited to get the team back together. And I'm excited that Survivor is still on. We will be here each and every week. Remember to like and subscribe at the YouTube channel. Always like and subscribe on Spotify or whatever podcast catcher you're listening to. Till next week, everyone. What do I say? See ya?
Yeah, you say see ya.
Okay. I almost said bye, and then somebody's going to get on and be mad at me. Till next week, everyone. See ya.